fast?
Yeah, it should be fast and short. I recently visited Streaming Forum 2019. We're not visiting every year. It's part of broadcast BVE, which is not the big one. The big one is IBS probably, but we still, streaming is what we're doing, even if we're not doing complete streaming for the browsers, but we do doing mobile, which is browser streaming, which is actually, you've probably seen such magazine I bring in every month or every 2 months to here. You can read always and enjoy. Then, to start it just briefly, I've put it some abbreviations that I wasn't aware what they are, but do anybody recognize from what you see on the board what you understand? Like, anybody know what is OTT, ABR, ADV, AV1, HEVC? Anybody?
High efficiency video coding.
Oh, yeah, well done. Then we do have some idea of what it is, and I've not.
It's over the top.
Oh, well done.
Ultra high definition.
Well done. Then we're quite good.
I don't know what that means.
Then we will. I will not get into the technical detail. It's just what it was about. The idea was about the streaming forum is OTT is better than broadcast, and what is OTT? I'm going to tell you just now. OTT is over the top. Is we want to stream the content over the internet or not over the cable TV, then we can enjoy. Now, can it be with the time being right now already 5 or 7 or 10 years that streaming actually going rise and rise? Can it replace broadcast? And we was discussing it was a lot of different presentations, and I couldn't be in every single presentation because it was then 3 days. For streaming it was 1 day, but it was 2 different rooms. For ruling sessions 30 minutes, then you can be everywhere at the same time. And for BVE it was 3 or 5 sessions every some 30 minutes. Then the real good question is OTT will replace broadcast? Probably just not now. Maybe at some point in 10 years time we still broadcasting streaming unicast. It's not available any service that broadcast is multicast over the internet and everybody can see at the same time as TV. That's why its bandwidth quite high, because you stream unicast, you always dedicate streaming per device, per browser, per mobile, whatever it's looking into the content. Then maybe one of the reasons that can actually replace it in the future is 5G, that is coming soonish. And maybe some bundles that coming with TV now channels. You can buy Netflix, for example, together sticked with broadcast. But it doesn't mean it will completely replace broadcast. Broadcast is still alive. I don't know how many of you have a TV at home. I don't have already 10 years maybe. I don't have single TV. I don't see any big reason to have a TV, only if I want to watch a lot of advertisement maybe. But this is actually big boost. Is much smaller than IFSEC or what I've seen previously, but it's still quite big. I had no time to get around all the boosts, and it was mostly for broadcast, like transcoders, encoders, cameras, TV, lighting systems. That is not generally what we're doing in CCTV, but it was very, very interesting and intense. For example, adaptive bitrate algorithms we was discussing that used to get the better performance to the actually mobile devices, which is include tablet, mobile devices, all streaming services over the internet, which actually when you start to see the video, it's not exactly start from the frame size you can start, it's not exactly start from the bitrate you can actually enjoy, but over the time it is improved. Its bitrate is rising because you don't have a buffering, and all these algorithms, adaptive bitrate algorithms, prevent you from buffering. They prevent you from stuck on one frame, then actually allow you to actually see all the time, even if they lowering the quality over the time, even if they lowering the resolution over the time, but you still can enjoy the content without interrupting yourself. Which is, we discussed pluses and minuses of this algorithm, because sometimes you want to see the sport with high resolution, high bitrate, and you want to see the ball, but these algorithms actually prevent you to see actual ball and actual sport, because reducing the bitrate, you will see ball at the start of the match and at the end of the match when everybody stops, but never will see the ball in the middle. That's why the sport is coming to the scene of broadcast of the streaming, but very little. They're trying to push, but very hard. The another big topic was ultra low latency, which is currently and you will see some slides that I've not written, I've just pictured, and it's just brief discussion of what I've seen, just to give you a flavor. For example, we've seen in our mobile web, if you move to the MPEG dash, we will see the 5-second latency is like stable on design 5-second latency, that some companies try to overcome this, how they can do 2-second latency or 1-second latency, because you see the content live, but you don't want to wait 5 seconds to see the live, you want to see it immediately. Then some companies already found solution how to decrease use MPEG for Dash, which is new streaming protocol, new streaming format, to get to the from 5 seconds to much slower, for example 2.5 seconds. But you need player dedicated install on every device to do this, and you need streaming, then you need actually develop half of the infrastructure itself instead of reusing somebody else infrastructure like WebRTC, what we're using underneath, and just players on the web browser. No, you will need to install yourself web player in the browser. But it is achievable. Maybe next year we will see some development with WebRTC and it will be everywhere. Who knows? Then it's advertisement. The advertisements work very well on broadcast. Is it works very well on streaming? Is possibly it start working very well because of lack of the streaming, they understand who is actually watching the content. Like it's mostly they know your gender, they know your location, they know what you was watched from the cookies. So they can start pushing your advertisement dedicated to who you are, which is kind of in broadcast is quite difficult because anybody can watch TV unless you just saying I'm 25, I'm like this and like this. But it's still broadcast already dedicated countryside and probably location side. AV1 and HEVC. This was interesting because we going to the HEVC market now, and it's from 2013 is codec, which is already 5-6 years, more than 5 years, which is you thought okay it should be implemented, and the first chip came out in 2013, but it's still not many companies trying to do this. Then let's get back to the MPEG-4 AVC, which is H.264. The license scheme was 20 pence per device, which is you pay quite constant fee, you know how many decoders you're going to sell, and you pay according to this to one community, to one authority, MPEG-LA. But for HEVC, because it was a lot of different patents associated with this, when you even take your FFmpeg H.265 decoder, you don't know what the algorithms developed there and who actually reversed engineering this and who is actually put it on to working. Then you don't really know to who to pay. MPEG-LA, HEVC Alliance, Velos Media, all the patent. If you will pay to everybody, is estimated $3.5 per device, which is very expensive. And that's why we're not seeing a lot of HEVC coming on. Even if you buy the new Apple doesn't support HEVC. But the chip in Apple and chip in latest S10 of Samsung does support HEVC, but they have not. They've removed the content to actually giving you this ability because they've not paid the license yet. But if you take your player, for example, and install yourself, you can still watch HEVC on the Apple device and Samsung, but the Apple and Samsung shouldn't pay any fees for this because you're responsible for the decoder and for the player you installed in. Then it's kind of a big confusion. And AV1 is a new codec that Google developed, and Google Assertion developed some multiple different companies try to invest in it. It is meant to be royal free. Then you, as you buying the, for example, Android, you're not paying the license. The same idea with codec, and it's estimated the new chipset will be developed in H2 2019. However, this codec is mostly dedicated for the browsers, for the all the browsers is using. Nobody actually know if it will come to the industry except of the browsers. And it's mostly browser developed codec. For YouTube, for example, in YouTube is AV1 should go running already. If it's not running, then all YouTube will run on AV1. And for example, just cut off Dava and Hikvision paying to MPEG-LA, and Milestone and Vigilon paying to HEVC Advance. Then we still not sure who actually right to pay. Now, for the latest figures of AV1 is much slower than HEVC. It's meant to give the same quality. If you see the picture produced by AV1 and by HEVC, you wouldn't see the difference. The difference is even subjective and perceptual quality. It was measured is almost identical. Then there is bandwidth saving. They're trying to achieve the same 50% bandwidth saving, but AV1 is 72 times slower right now. It's mighty, and if you remember, HEVC is slower some 10-20 times than H.264, then AV1 is slower even than this. The Google will improve it with time. We don't know when, maybe later this year, but it's going to be improved. Now, just to forget AV1 and HEVC, it's a new codec coming, as every codec just coming every 10-15 years, and this time it's coming too early because HEVC is not implemented yet, or it's not broadcasted everywhere at H.264, but VVC is going out already next year, first release. Then the first SOC may be already next year available. Now, this VVC should improve few things. One is licensing, because everybody confused with licensing. Maybe it's be not much better than HEVC, but definite license schemes they want to improve. To improve this, they need to make the different pool system, like different patents to use, different it's might algorithms will achieve the same, like different type of algorithms, but you will need to pay just to somebody one, or you can't understand to who to pay.
Is there a consortium behind that?
It's MPEG-LA only, just now.
Okay, and is it Google who are?
No, it's just MPEG-LA.
Just MPEG?
Yes, it is MPEG-LA, ITU, MPEG. Yeah, this only them trying to push it forward. It's another minutes to finish. It's quite. We was discussing ultra high definition. You probably already heard about it. And high definition, it was interesting to me because I thought, okay, it's 4K, but no. Ultra high definition is 4K, HDR, WCG, NGA, HFR. So many words. I wasn't aware what they are. HDR, I was about what is HDR. It's more color schemes inside. But for example, NAG is like different audio system. Then you can make like 620, and you can put speakers in different places, and you can hear it that coming to you or coming out. It's like more 3D audio around you. Then if you're going to buy the new TV, don't buy it now because it's still not implemented. But the new standard would dictate the new TV system to be with NGA, for example, implemented. And HFR is high frame rate, for example. It's getting out from 25 frames per second to 60 frames per second, and maybe more, I don't know, because as you remember, 8K it's 120 frames per second. I don't know if you will achieve at some point next year. And this is just a broad idea how it was developed, some DVB system, ATSC system, and Ultra HD systems. And if you was looking on when it Ultra HD will be developed, it's like just now. You probably, if you buy now TV, it won't support all of this feature. It's just like if you remember getting past TV with HD ready. Do you know what is HD ready? It wasn't term HD ready. It wasn't HD, but it was HD ready. Now you probably get HD TV, and full HD, but the same with UHD. You're not getting right technology. It's not yet ready. It's just standardized, and if you buy TV dedicated to UHD, you will not get it because it's not ready yet. It's probably all. Yeah. Any questions for the brief presentation?